Before we get into today's episode, I need your help. We are 27 subscribers away from reaching 46,000. So if you have not yet, please scroll on down, click that subscribe button for free Browns coverage. I don't know about you guys, but I was a little surprised this morning when I read that Kenny Pickett going into organized team activities not could be, but will be this team's number one quarterback. So let's break it all down and I'll try and make some sense of it because right now I'm struggling to really believe the Browns view Kenny Pickett as their number one option at quarterback. But Mary Kay from Cleveland.com recently wrote, "It's a tough call before we've seen the first practice of organized team activities. But I know Kenny Pickett heads in as the front runner to win the starting job at the outset. He'll take the initial first team reps in OTAs and probably the mandatory minicamp, and it seems like it's his job to try to keep for now." This terrifies me. I don't know any other way to put it. When they traded for Kenny Pickett, I remember saying on this channel, don't be too alarmed. They're adding a veteran quarterback to compete with the rookie and another veteran. But the key word was compete, not gift him the job going into OTAs and minicamp. I don't like the idea of really any of the four quarterbacks going into the offseason workouts as the front runner, right? It should be a close, level playing field across the board. But if there is someone who has a 51% chance shareholding majority, right, where they've got the slightest of leads, it should be Joe Flacco, not Kenny Pickett, not the quarterback that last year in Pittsburgh, 2023, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions in 12 games, and gave the Steelers some of the most uninspiring quarterback play that franchise has ever seen. I don't want to root against Kenny Pickett. I want to believe that he can be good, but I'd be lying to you guys if I felt like he is the best man for the job. Now, I can make some sense of going into this offseason workout schedule. He is the first one up in line for some drills. I mean, you look at the 4 options. One is 40-year-old Joe Flacco. He does not need to practice this spring to get better. You know what I mean? Like, you know what you have in Joe Flacco. And that might be the best thing on the roster, but you know what you have. You have an idea of what you have in Kenny Pickett. You've seen him play in the NFL for a few seasons, but maybe you chalk up some of his failures in Pittsburgh to the horrible Matt Canada offense. Then you have no idea really what you have in Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders. And that's just chalk for quarterbacks in general going into their first offseason summer workouts. But I think Joe Flacco going into week 1 should be plan A. It's all right if going into the spring or going into these OTAs and minicamp workouts, Kenny Pickett is plan A in terms of the drills. But actually being plan A to be the starter, those are 2 different things. If you don't want to make Joe Flacco the first string quarterback in spring because you don't need to see him get those reps, all right, I buy that. You want to see Kenny Pickett get those reps at the first team offense because there's a better chance that Pickett could be this team's starting quarterback in 5 years versus Flacco. I'm on board. But you lose me when you go, Kenny Pickett's the front runner for this job and it's his job to lose. Slow down. It's all right if you want to give some of the youngins an opportunity to run with the first team offense in June, in May, as we're far away from September. But come August, it should be Joe Flacco. He is the guy on this roster I have the most confidence in to win week 1 at home against Cincinnati. I'm not saying that with a lot of confidence, but it is the most confidence I have. I wasn't quite with everyone else when it came to the reunion with Flacco. I mean, even Flacco himself said he was caught off guard when the Browns contacted him. I would love for Stefanski and Flacco not to pick up where they left off because that included 2 pick sixes in Houston, but to pick up a little bit of not really where they left off, but what they had at one point in time, which is a quarterback who came off his couch and was spraying the field, throwing a million touchdowns and just blitzing the defense every single time he threw the ball deep. So I'll stick with Flacco as the best plan A on this team. Feel free to chime in who you think the quarterback should be between these two veterans. We'll talk about what this means for the rookies, by the way. And, if you're Dillon Gabriel and you're Shedeur Sanders and you're looking, or better yet, if you're Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders' family. Because right now, it's always the rookie family members who are, way more invested in the, new news and rumors for that, son or, child's nephew, whatever's new team. It's the family members that really get into the weeds on these types of, news and rumors, topics, and storylines. So let me know who you think should be the starting quarterback. And more importantly, we'll talk about what this means for the rookies, because I know that's where everyone wants to go. But before we do that, quick reminder, we've got an awesome sponsor here at the Browns Report that I'm excited to share with you guys today, and that is Mando. With spring weather in the air and the weather warming up, I'm most looking forward to taking my dog on longer walks every single morning, and that puts me in a good mood to start the day. But I don't want to have, bad BO or just smelly pits for the rest of the day. And with Mando, that is not a problem. They've got whole body deodorant, safe to use anywhere on your body. I'm talking pits, thigh folds, belly buttons, cracks, feet, you name it. And it was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. So if you are getting ready to get a little bit more in the outdoorsy spirit, you want to go and spend more time outside, make sure you've got Mando with you. That way you don't smell bad for the rest of the day. Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code CHAT. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack when you use code CHAT at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them the Browns Report sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Now, I am not on board with this idea of anointing Kenny Pickett as the team's starting quarterback going into OTAs, but I would think if you're Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders, this has got to be perceived as good news. You know that going into OTAs, you're not going to be QB1. That's just out of the cards for a 3rd and a 5th round draft pick. Doesn't mean things can't change in the middle of August, but we're not there yet. But if you are Gabriel or Sanders, and you had to pick one of the two veteran quarterbacks for the coaches to view as the QB1, you'd probably want them to view Kenny Pickett as that. Let's just have an honest, bar sports conversation, right? Who's better, Flacco or Pickett? For me, it's Flacco. If the coaches are blind enough to think it's Pickett, that's not as tall of a mountain to climb as taking the job over from Joe Flacco and all the success he has had in his career. Yeah, he's 40, so you're not thinking about having to win the job over him in a year or two from now. But short term, he can still, sling the rock. And Pickett is still not a very good quarterback in my eyes. So for Gabriel or Sanders, I got to think they look at this as the competition is not as tough if that's the man we got to beat to be this team week 1 starting quarterback. Here's the offseason schedule, by the way. We got OTAs getting underway at the end of this month, May 27th through the 28th. They kind of go in random little spurts of 2 or 3 days, and then 1 day, and then mandatory minicamp, June 10th through the 12th. So this will be a lot of fun. This will be, I would assume everyone's going to be here. Miles may not be at these days, which will bring on the annual conversation of how is Myles Garrett skipping these new workout or these offseason workouts, and people get really mad online, and then people forget he has a 17.5 sack season, and it's no big deal. But I am sure when he inevitably skips some of these workouts right here, you're going to get people really upset online about the whole thing. All right, that's going to do it for us on today's episode. But before we do sign off, we do have one other kind of subject to cover here because there is a topic that I've not talked about a lot recently. And the main reason why is whenever I do talk about it, the views suck. So there's me being fully transparent with you guys. I'm not going to pick topics that you guys don't have interest on YouTube. But we did get an update on the Browns' new stadium search, and it's getting a little bit juicy. So I'll try and keep it surface level. The last time we talked about this conversation, it was about over in Columbus. There was a proposal made when it came to bonds for $600 million for the Browns to help fund the $1.2 billion needed from the taxpayer to support the $2.5 billion stadium proposal in Brook Park. Now, it's gone back and forth. Roger Goodell went to Columbus to speak to the Ohio lawmakers to support funding from these bonds to get $600 million to the Haslam Group to support that $2.4 billion stadium. The Browns are looking for $600 million from the state, $600 million from the county. So that is, in short, what the Browns need out of the taxpayer to support that $2.4 billion stadium, $1.2 million from them. The Browns, I don't think, are going to have much of an issue of getting $600 million in bonds from Columbus. I think they're going to have $600 million getting $600 million from the county. And in this latest letter that was sent to the county from the Haslam Sports Group, they basically said, screw you, we're going to do this with or without your $600 million. And the county and the city have done, my opinion, and I'm not going to try and pass myself off as an expert in this category, but from a low-level knowledge of the situation, they've done a bad job at this. And I say that because it seems like they've resorted to trying to appeal to constituents and Cleveland natives and citizens for flyovers and like blimps as a reason to stay at the current location. If you have to rely on the Goodyear blimp for in and out of commercial breaks during Browns games as a reason to stay at the lakefront, you've lost. If that's the argument you're tossing out there, as this guy on Twitter, well, not on Twitter, sorry, the city planner, I'm not really sure all of his credentials, but he's high up in this entire operation on the county side, so we'll go with that. If that's what he's going off of, hey, might be a problem for the Goodyear blimp. It's kind of close to Hopkins International. Might not get these cool flyovers anymore. You might not get those anymore. Oh, boy. Wow. You have done a horrible job if that's what you present to the jury. I don't believe there is a single soul online that will see that tweet and go, change of heart. You said there's no more blimps possibly? I'm switching. I'm going with the lakefront. All that does is supports the group of people that want to stay in the lakefront and gives them another reason, big or small. But by no means does it move anyone from Team Brook Park to Team Lakefront. You just further entrench those on the lakefront as here's another reason to stay on the lakefront. We're gonna lose the blimps from Goodyear. Like, that's not actually a reason to switch sides. I'm going to have probably about 8,000 to 10,000 views off this video. I'd love to know if a single soul watching this video says, Petey, after reading that information, I got to go with the lakefront because of the Goodyear blimp for the intros and outros during commercial breaks. Which, by the way, I don't know how often the blimp is going to come to Cleveland when all you play is at 1 p.m. Eastern and no primetime games. Just going to toss that out there. Also, I'm thinking on the fly right now. I don't have any visual evidence right now, but I'm going to confidently say I've seen flyover B-roll. That's the term we use in the industry, where it's like 3 seconds of a little video that has nothing to do with the actual scene itself. I've seen that for SoFi, for like Rams, Chargers, college football games. And they're right next to LAX. I'm not even sure if we do lose the Goodyear blip. But I'm okay with that being a casualty. All right, now that's going to do it for us on today's episode. But yeah, Brook Park is happening. I don't think I need to stand up on a podium and tell you guys that when the Haslam Group says, hey, Cuyahoga County, with or without the $600 million we were asking for from you, we're going to proceed with Brook Park. They're going to proceed with Brook Park. And I don't think this Art Modell law is going to stop them. Let's pick a card to wrap up today's episode. Sorry for keeping you guys hostage for so long. Which card do you want to go with? Ace of Spades? I had a viewer DM me on Twitter, and they said for your last card, you should do Queen of Hearts. And so I think I'll do it today. I'll be traumatized if the last one is Queen of Hearts, and I didn't do it that episode. But for the last one, I got to go with my roots. I got to go with my gut. I can't be, armchair quarterback. So today, for that one special viewer, Queen of Hearts. Would you say? No, 3 of Hearts. I'll see everyone later.